I've been running my company for about a year and a half now here in Japan, and when I meet people, they seem to be under the firm belief that I succeed at everything I do and that overall my company is, a pure success story. And this is false. This is false. Like, the reality is that 80 to 90% of what I have tried and the vision that I had initially, everything failed or I gave up on. And so I want to make this video as brief as possible. The purpose really is to kind of showcase that I think most people that haven't yet, made a company, including myself about a year and a half ago, this is the first company that I really try to make successful. I tried a couple of things before. I was still under this binary belief that you're either succeeding or failing. And so far, what I realized is that everything seems to be happening in the middle. You basically fail, learn, adapt your behavior. And if you don't adapt your behavior, your failures are not learnings, they're just observations. Anyway, what I want to really showcase to you today is that while I failed at literally everything that I had envisioned, I actually took a lot of good lessons from it, and they allow me to still, in the grand scheme of things, be successful. So the initial vision that I had for InnoHive was pretty simple. I wanted to build this massive community of tech entrepreneurs or tech talent here in Japan and make, a venture studio, basically being able then to put those people together and create startups on their own. And in order to kind of generate cash, I was going to provide recruitment services to the startups that I already know in the market. And the talent was going to come from that community. In order to build that community, the goal was to basically then do a weekly event where we gather people. We tried then to diversify the type of events with, panel discussions and what's not. Overall, extremely intense type of challenge because, running events, for anyone out there who has already done it, it's super hard. People sign up, don't show up, and there's a large variety of really great events already in Tokyo. So we came into a space that was already crowded, and we wanted to also monetize it. So we charged for the entrance, which eventually we stopped doing. But anyway, long story short is that the initial goal was to do this on a weekly basis and to keep improving the events. And after about a year, I actually had to give up on this. The rhythm was crazy. I couldn't keep up. I ended up in the hospital. And right now, we haven't thrown an event for the past 4 or 5 months. And I don't think, at least in the foreseeable future, that we will hold an event. So I would say that overall, the community event part, I failed. I gave up. The reality is also that I had more and more anxiety because of those events. So long story short, I failed. Another thing that I tried to do was to scale my team very quickly. I tried to, hire several people under me to train them, to make them good recruiters. And that also, I failed. I had to end up letting go everyone because I was just not good at managing people. I had a tendency to be pretty toxic because I'm bootstrapping, so it's my money. I'm financing everything through my money, and people not working at the same, I would call it standards. Like I would qualify myself as a workaholic, and people not being workaholics was an issue for me. I couldn't take it. It was annoying me because I was paying them. And so again, I did fail pretty miserably at scaling and being a manager. Right now, the situation being that I manage only one person, which is my sister, and it's pretty great. But long story short, scaling a team, I failed. A third ambition that I had was to make a podcast that we were going to monetize. We were going to go to companies, basically make like a really good looking video about their company, and then podcast and showcase the leadership there and what's not, and really try to do recruitment through the podcast. Again, failed. Didn't work out. Companies didn't want to pay for it. And I had to just right now do a very simple podcast that I'm running online, basically. So the main ambition was really to create this high production level, face-to-face and everything. And 20 episodes later down the line, still couldn't figure out how to monetize it. And I had to, go to a very simple online podcast because it's the only way to sustain it. Failed again. And yeah, another thing that I really wanted to be able to make was like this very open, transparent job board. And most of the companies that I hire for and recruit for, they actually didn't want to be on our job board. They wanted us to keep doing headhunting. So the transparency that I was really hoping to be able to put out there didn't work out. So again, I failed. The job board that we have so far has not generated a single placement. Failed. And so the list goes on. And yeah, this is the reality. Like, there's nothing amazing about what I do. I'm not like the guy who keeps, succeeding at everything he does. I actually have a pretty good streak of failing and giving up so far. But the company is profitable. I overall make a decent living from it. I'm a free man. I work with my family. And the year and a half of failing has taught me so much. And this is now what I want to showcase you on how I succeed while failing like a maniac. Running the events taught me how to, gather people. It taught me to do public speaking. It got me more comfortable navigating a room and interacting with a crowd. It taught me the complexity of the logistics. It allowed me to meet amazing people. It also allowed me to realize that the ecosystem has so much to offer here in Tokyo. So yeah, I could go on and on, but overall, it's a massive win when it comes to learning and building a brand for myself and meeting amazing people out there. The podcast taught me how to, utilize cameras, how to build a set, how to feel comfortable talking to a camera. It taught me how to interview someone and really put the spotlight on them and try to myself be in the background. It taught me the power of promoting social media. It taught me so much that right now I'm feeling comfortable making vlogs like this and, being vulnerable in front of a camera. So that's what the podcast taught me. Scaling a team taught me that overall what matters to me is not really be, at the head of an empire or building a team or scaling. Like, the drive that I had back then was mostly me trying to impress people that they don't give a fuck of what I do. Like, they couldn't care less. And so I was very obsessed with like building quickly this team and being this guy who's like, wow, this guy is a badass. He built like a team of, 5, 6, 7 people in less than 3 months on his own finances. What a badass. You know what? Nobody cares. And I was miserable. I made the people around me miserable. Those people were extremely good human beings. But yeah, it taught me what I actually want from this. It taught me my weaknesses from an emotional point of view. It taught me how to communicate in a more gentle way and in a more appropriate way. It taught me very deep lessons such as just because something is true doesn't mean you should say it. And it doesn't mean you have the right to say it. So long story short, failing miserably and being a manager, I would say overall made me a better human. And that's a good one for me. I could use that. I think everyone can, to be fair, but I could definitely use that. And when it comes to the job board aspect, I realized it's a lot harder than it looks like. And so the naive part that was in me prior to, try a lot of things, that naive part is gone, which allows me now to say no to most of the opportunities out there. So I would say overall, I'm a lot more focused. So anyway, I really want to share this because, yeah, I'm succeeding while failing most of what I do. I'm a serial failure so far in my entrepreneurship journey here in Japan, but I'm learning and I'm extremely grateful. Anyway, you get my point. It's been over a year since I run the company, and I think now you understand that success is just a massive accumulation of failures. At least that's what I'm experiencing so far. Hope this helps on people out there that are stuck and are thinking of starting. Yeah, I'm going back to failing. Cheers.